Hello again, everybody. My name is Greg Bird, editor of the McCurry County Voice. I'm joined by Bobby Strunk. He's our Republican candidate for Magistrate in District 3. Bobby, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Care to take a moment to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yes. I'm Bobby Strunk. I'm married to Missy Strunk, Missy Markham Strunk, actually. We got 4 kids altogether. I won the May primary. I'm a Republican candidate, won the May primary, and trying to get in for the general election in November. I'm a lifelong resident of McCurry County. Worked here practically all my life. I have worked other places, but I've lived here all my life. Just trying to make the county a better place to live, a better quality of life. Part of my family has moved. Some of my kids have moved to Somerset. My friends have moved up there for jobs. Just trying to get some stuff in here, something for the kids to do, make it a better county for all of us. Thank you.
And, what kind of experiences do you have that you think makes you qualified for a magistrate position?
Well, my experience is, I work in the public. I have for years, worked with different positions, worked public. I get along with people. I know what the problems are here. I'm on the roads here. I talk to people that live here. I know what the issues are here. I care about making the county a better place. I'm focused on bringing stuff in here, jobs, all types of jobs, stuff for the kids to do, something to keep people here when they visit here, like tourism, just different stuff like that. We got to get some new ideas in here.
What do you think are your idea of the duties and responsibilities of a magistrate in our fiscal court?
The duties of the magistrate is to represent your district, which mine is District 3. Just represent them, speak for them in the fiscal court, stand up for what you believe that your district needs done or wants done, the majority of your district. You ain't gonna make everybody happy, but you've got to do the majority, what you think is right for your people in your district. Keep on budget, make people accountable, make the fiscal court as transparent as possible, and be open to all ideas. Sometimes the best ideas won't be from somebody sitting on fiscal court. Sometimes the best idea will be from a citizen. But listen to everybody and process it and do what you think is the best for your district.
Okay. Tell me, what are some opportunities you think that McCurry County has got coming up for them?
Well, some of the opportunities is the opportunity zone. We get some jobs in there, but I don't think they're pursuing that. That's one opportunity. The tourism, we have opportunities to really do good on tourism. Get stuff in here for people to do, get them to stay. Try to make the county grow any way you can, any type of business, but just try to do the best you can to make everybody here as happy as they can be.
Okay. On the other side of the coin, what are some issues that you might see out there?
Well, some of the issues is the lack of jobs. You see more and more people driving to Somerset every day. There's no jobs here to keep them here. There's nothing for our children to do. No place for them to go other than just stay home and play video games. One thing is, if you don't get something by 5 o'clock, a lot of stuff you have to drive out of the county or wait till the next day to get it. School shopping. We have to drive out of the county to get school clothes for our kids. We just need little stuff like department stores, with some more restaurants, anything to get people to stay here and spend money here. Get the population growing instead of decreasing.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you mentioned the opportunity zone, and another thing that could help on that front is this TVA bill that was passed by the legislature. How do you see using, we could get $150,000, $160,000 a year just strictly earmarked for economic development. How do you see using that money to help bolster small businesses?
Well, I really ain't for sure on that yet, but we need it to. We got the industrial park out there, but it's that building sit there for so long, and it is growed up around it. We need to advertise, I guess, try to get companies or places to look at us to come here. Towad, we could advertise it. If we can get Towad, the interstate, we'll be like 15, 20 minutes from interstate if we can get something out there.
Do you think that we could use some of that money to hire an economic development director? And if so, would you want it to be someone local, or would you just look for the best experienced person for the job?
I would prefer it be local, but if it is a good experienced person, that would be fine. That would be something that the judge would have to look at. But maybe the deputy judge executive could do it. Could be part of his position.
Okay. And this previous fiscal court's passed several ordinances, and that's what a lot of what fiscal court does is pass laws. But there's always been some question of enforcement on it. How do you feel how the fiscal court should enforce their own laws, possibly a code enforcement officer or enlisting the sheriff's department? Do you think that if you're going to pass a law, you should enforce it, and how would you go about doing it?
Yes, some of them should be enforced, but hiring somebody to do it, I don't know. You'd have to look at it and see how much. I mean, you may be spending out more on hiring somebody, their salary, than what you're going to collect. That would be something looked at by fiscal court. All the members and the judge have to look at it and see. But like the yard sales, I don't see a problem with the yard sales. I know that's been a big issue, but the business tax, I think if you can't pay the business tax, that's you should be able to pay the business tax.
Okay. And you're talking about with the fiscal court, if you're elected, you're going to have at least 3 new members of the fiscal court, 2 other magistrates, a judge executive, possibly a 4th. How do you feel you get along with the new fiscal court? How would you work along with these people?
Well, I think I get along with them pretty good. I think we all know each other. Me and Randy don't know each other that well, but me and Roger and Billy Hale, if we're in there, we know each other from playing ball together. And I've known Bevo for a long time. I was Scotty a little bit. But I work well with others. I get along with everybody. And I think we would have a good fiscal court.
Yeah. One topic that came up a lot during the primary, back when you were running in the spring, was McCreary County being a work-ready community. Yeah. And of course, a lot of communities around here are getting that certification. Would that be something you'd be advocating for, is getting McCreary County that certification?
Yes, I think that is very important. I've been looking at that for even in the primary. We filed a letter of intent, and as far as it went, and now I think we got to start over. And that's something that the companies look at when they want to move here. They look at that, if we're ready, if we got employees that can fill the positions. So yes, we need to pursue that. I know it's part of it's the high school. You've got to have the school grades and all that, but we need to pursue that and try to get further than we did before.
Another big thing that came up this past year is the topic of boards in McCreary County. Obviously, the main one has been the extension board, but you've got your fire departments. Possibly you're just forming an economic development board. What role do you feel boards serve for the advancement of McCreary County?
Well, a lot of places do need a board to vote on stuff, to get stuff in here. I know the TVA, you got to have a board to get that money. That's what they said. But some of these boards, I think some of the magistrates and stuff are, and we are to attend some of these board meetings, and kind of like the extension, we might have been able to help on that, so it didn't get out of hand like it did. That was a big mess right there.
Yeah, so more involvement in the fiscal court.
In the boards by fiscal court, is talk to them and kind of know where they're at, what they're planning, and if you see something like that's going to happen, kind of head them off. Say, hey, we need to really talk about this.
Do you think that maybe they could do regular reports to the fiscal court too, to keep them informed?
That would be good. Yeah, anything to help us know what's going on, because it is the county's money, it's taxpayers' money. Nobody wants taxes. Nobody wants to pay no more than they have to. Everybody wants to pay a fair share. But we want stuff in here, but we don't want to be overtaxed on everything.
Okay. Bobby, that's my last official question. I'll turn it over to you if there's anything else that you want to address before we sign off.
I appreciate it, Greg. I just want to try to make the county better. I just want to change the quality of life for everybody here. I know we went backwards in the past, but I think the future is bright. I think we can change a lot of things here. I think we can get jobs in here. I think we can get stuff for the people to do, stuff for kids to do, different types of business, and anything we can get to help, I'm all for. And I want to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Again, and thank you, Bobby Strunk.
Thank you.
Bobby's our Republican candidate for Magistrate in District 3, and make sure you go out and vote this November. Thank you all for watching. Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by David Price. He's our Democrat candidate for Magistrate in District 3. David, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, and thank the Voice for inviting me.
Yeah. Would you care to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yes, friends, folks, my name's David D. Price. I'm a candidate for Magistrate of District 3. District 3 consists of Stearns, Revlo, Strunk, and West Pinot. I'm married to Lisa Brown Price, a retired speech-language pathologist here in the McCrae County school system. Her parents are Eddie Brown and Nedra Brown, again, lifelong educators of McCrae County. My parents were Don and Penny Price of Marshall Siding, now deceased. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. I'm a member of the Stearns First Baptist Church. I own my own business, paralegal services. I have been representing McCrae County residents for the past 40 years in various legal aspects, mostly federal benefit type cases. I want to become your magistrate. I've had numerous business leaders, citizens who have asked me to contribute to the county as I have been doing in my life, and that's why I'm asking for your vote as magistrate.
Okay. David, can you give a brief description on, first of what do you think the duties of a magistrate are, and then how do you feel you're qualified to perform those duties?
Qualifications. Again, I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in paralegal science from Eastern Kentucky University. That has allowed me to utilize my skills in business, accounting, budgeting, running my own business, dealing with the federal government, state government, county government, and I believe those are the necessary qualifications that one needs to become magistrate. They need to be able to interpret what comes before the fiscal court, make an educated decision, and then follow up and fulfill that decision.
Okay. What are some of the positive aspects of McCrae County that you would, as magistrate, like to see enhanced? Or opportunities?
Okay. Well, me and my wife have had the opportunity to be lifelong citizens of McCrae County after our school, and we've come back here to give back to the community. I think that's it.
Okay.
On that question.
Yeah. As far as any issues that you'd like to see addressed by the fiscal court under your term?
Sure. We've got a number of issues that are going to be addressed by the new fiscal court. Basically, we're going to be having a new county judge executive, a new county attorney. It looks to me like we're going to either have 3 or 4 new magistrates. I think I can work well with the new magistrates and with the new county judge executive and with the new county attorney. I think we together, we can compromise, we can work together, we can work out issues, we can look over some of the old things that the prior court has done in the past, garbage, occupational tax, the whole thing. We need to take a new, fresh look at this. Get some people on the fiscal court that's educated, that has the skills, the experience, the know-how, somebody that that you would hire to do the job, which is basically what you are doing. You're going to hire David Price to be your magistrate. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what you want me to do. I want citizen input. I want community activities. I want people to call me. I will answer your questions. I will answer your emails. Matter of fact, my office is right across from the courthouse. Anytime that you have a question, come over, talk to me. I'll run over to the courthouse and take care of it for you.
Okay. You mentioned the occupational tax and the business license and the garbage ordinance, and that's one thing that the fiscal court does a lot is they pass ordinances.
Sure.
Do you feel that if you as a fiscal court member pass an ordinance that there's an obligation to enforce it? And if so, how would you go about enforcing it? Or would you like to see ordinances passed that don't have penalties involved?
Tough question. Again, I think that's where you need to put your education, your know-how, and to establish and create an ordinance that is beneficial to the individual and to our county. Enforcement of ordinances, yes. Take an example about the trash. I think that's a done deal for right now until this new fiscal court becomes apparent. But mandatory. I want trash service picked up. I love just taking my trash out to the front door and depositing it. Do I think it should be mandatory? Do I think that the fiscal court, me, the county judge, the county attorney should be suing its citizens? Absolutely not. That's not my job. That's the trash company's job.
Economic development. And of course, McCrae County was named an opportunity zone earlier this year. And just, you were at the meeting, the fiscal court passed a resolution to create a board in order to capture some funding from the TVA bill that was passed this past year. It should be about $150,000 a year or so. How do you think McCrae County should use that funding for economic development? Do you feel there's a need to get a economic development director? And if so, what kind of qualifications would you like to see for that position?
Qualifications, we need good, educated people that know how to do the job. We don't just take somebody off the street and give them that job title. We want somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that has dealings with it before, some experience. That's the whole thing. You've got to have experience, you've got to have education, you've got to have the know-how to do these things. So when we set up these boards, again, you want citizen input. You want your magistrate to be able to, again, look at the situation, evaluate it, make a decision, and then stick to it.
And sticking with boards for a moment, they've been in the news a lot this past year or so, such as the extension board and that, but you said you want citizen involvement, but do you feel that the boards in McCrae County, not just extension, I'm talking all the boards, do you think they play a vital role, and do you think that the fiscal court maybe should have some more oversight into that to prevent miscommunication like we've seen in the past?
Sure. I think the fiscal court should always be involved in it. The various different boards that are set up, they should work closely with the fiscal court. Not just let them make a decision and then come to the fiscal court and say, hey, we've got this ideal, and will you go ahead and vote on it next Thursday? No, that's not going to happen. Not under my watch. I'm going to, again, evaluate it, look at it, make an educated guess, do what's necessary. And then again, you're hiring me to do the job. Let me work for you. I'll do it.
One last question is on being a work-ready community. More and more Kentucky counties are getting this certification, and it came out just a few weeks ago. Of course, McCrae County applied for it and did not complete it, and it's kind of dead in the water. Do you think being certified as a work-ready community is something that we should be striving for? And if so, how do you think we should go about it?
Yes, I think so. Of course, our future is our young kids. Our young kids are being educated. I think the school system's doing a great job. My wife, lifelong educator, my in-laws, so I'm directly involved and know what the school system can do. I graduated from McCrae County High School here, which provided me an opportunity to move on and go to college. And then I came back to my county to give to the county. Technology is a big determining factor of how this county is going to prosper in the future. Our young kids are graduating from high school and basically telling their parents, Mom, Dad, I can't live here anymore. I've got to move. There is no jobs available for me. What I like to see is good, sustainable jobs. Jobs that you can say, I want to join that company. I want to work for them. I want to retire from that company. Unless we get a new fiscal court and get some input from our new court and our citizens, our business leaders, all the educational world is just not going to help us. We've got to get the young people back into the county. We're losing population over the last 4 or 5, 10 years, we've lost 1,000 people in population. They're just leaving. And they're not coming back. And we've got very good, smart people, doctors, lawyers, tax professionals. The list just goes on. We need to get these people back here. But the only way we can get them back here is jobs, industry, education.
Okay. That was the last question I have for you. I'll give you an opportunity. Anything else that we've not addressed, and it'll give you an opportunity to make a closing statement if you'd like.
Sure. I want you to vote for me, and I want you to think of it as just going out and hiring somebody to fix your car. You want them to do a good job for you. That's what I want to do. I'm going to be transparent in all fiscal court proceedings, meetings. I'm going to have frequent community input. I have personal opinions, and then I have educated opinions. I'm always going to do an educated opinion or decision. I am going to be responsible for your tax dollar. Everybody talks about taxes and spending and so forth. That's all good and fine, but you have to be a steward of the budget. You have to know what you're budgeting. You have to allocate certain funds to certain organizations, and a lot of this is state mandated, so a lot of your money goes to certain particular areas, but then there's other monies that the county has to decide how it's going to be spent, who gets what. That's where somebody like me, who is educated, who is skilled with the government, who can make those informed decisions, who will work for you, the people. I'll work for you. I'll work for your family. That's what I want to do. I'm not a political person. I just tell it the way it is. I'll do it just the way I've been doing for 40 years when clients come to my office. David, I need your help, and that's what I need now. I need your help in getting me elected. Thank you.
Okay. And once again, this is David Price. He's your Democrat candidate for Magistrate in District 3. David, thank you so much for being here today.
Sure.
Thank you. And good afternoon. I'm joined today by Johnny Porter. He's an independent candidate for Magistrate District 3. Johnny, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Would you care to introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Johnny Corder. I'm an independent candidate for Magistrate of District 3, and like many of you all, I have a lot of concerns about the way this county's heading. And I appreciate your vote in November.
Okay. Do you know what kind of qualifications that you may have for the position?
Well, I ain't no lawyer or nothing like that, but I'm a resident of this county, and I've been a lifelong resident of this county, and I've seen over the past few years that I would like to see jobs in this county and roadways fixed and just so many different things.
What do you think are the job duties and obligations of being a magistrate?
To help try to balance the budgets and try to bring jobs in and try to fix the roadways and get things done. Try to see if we can't get like programs and stuff in here, job readiness programs, and just many different.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the budget. What are some of your concerns, or what are your thoughts on our budget as it is?
I think that we could do better on our budget. Myself, I believe that the more jobs we have in the county, the better off we'll be. And, it's going to help the budget in the long term. It's going to help the overall budget, where there'll be a lot more that we can do by having jobs and by creating jobs and bringing jobs in. I believe that, magistrates should try to at least go outside of the county to bring these jobs into the county and try to entice them to, expand their business to McCreary County.
Mm-hmm. What are some opportunities that you see from McCreary County? What are some positive things about the county?
I believe we have a lot of things going for us right now. I mean, we got the Chautauqua Trace, we got, hiking trails and four-wheeling trails, and, I believe that we can expand. We've been named part of the Opportunity Zone here in Kentucky. I believe that we can build off that, and as long as the magistrates and the next physical court tries to work together, that I believe that we can, in the long term, see a lot of good happen.
Okay. And on the flip side of the coin, what are some problems that you'd like to see addressed?
There's a lot of issues I got. Poof carding's one of them. I'm not a big fan of poof carding. I'm not too big of a fan of the small business license deal. But one of the major problems we got here in the county is this drug epidemic. And, I think that, we could, Grant Hastings, he was running in the primaries, and he had some pretty good ideas about, the drug problem that we have in here in this county. And I believe that we could address that and work closely with the sheriff's department on, trying to help people. And, we have no jailhouse. I listened to the debate the other day, the jailer debate, and, a lot of them had a lot of good ideas, but I would have to agree with Jesse Hatfield. I think that the best option would be trying to build a new jailhouse. I think it was Eric Ratz that came down back in April or May, and he was talking about the jailhouse and, how much it would cost, around $9.5 million, and he said it would take about 2 years to get it all completed once the project gets going. And I believe the longer we wait on trying to bring a jailhouse in, the higher the cost is going to be. So there's a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you mentioned the business ordinance, the business license, and of course we've got the garbage ordinance and a lot of ordinances. And the previous fiscal court has passed these ordinances, but they're not really enforcing them. What's your thought overall on these ordinances? And do you think that if you pass an ordinance, you should enforce it? And how do you think, if that is the case, how do you think they should go about enforcing it?
Well, I'm not a big fan on the poof carding. I mean, I like I said earlier, I really ain't. I believe that if somebody disposes of their garbage in a rightful and respectful manner, whether they're taking it down to Tennessee or whatever, and as long as they're getting rid of it in a decent manner and they're not polluting the land or the environment, I believe that they shouldn't be fined for doing that. I believe that the people that should be fined are the people who's out here throwing trash on the side of the road. And, I remember whenever I was little, you used to walk up and down the road barefoot and never have to worry about it. And now, I'm scared to death. My kids wearing flip-flops because I'm afraid they're going to step on a needle or, something like that. But I believe that, besides punishing law-abiding citizens who's properly disposing of their garbage, I don't believe that we should be, fining them. We should be fining these people who illegally dumps on the side of the road. And, small business license, I'm not real big on that either because, I think that there are a lot of people out there that sets up yard sales or has a lawnmower business or something, like that, just to make ends meet, maybe buy a pack of diapers or put gas in the car or, whatever. And I don't think that they should have to be obligated to pay for a small business license because, they're putting their money into it and, they're just trying to make ends meet. So, I mean, I'm not really for that. But whenever you do pass an ordinance, I do believe that they should be some kind of enforcement on it. I just ain't real big and keen on them two ordinances.
Sure, absolutely, I understand. And you mentioned, of course, the opportunity zone that we've been named, and also just this past month, the fiscal court formed a new economic development board so we can capture money for economic development through TVA. You mentioned supporting small business and getting new jobs in here. How do you think that money should be used, the economic development funding?
I believe it should be used to try to get us further along in this job ready program. I believe, if my understanding is correct, that you have to qualify for 6 things in the job ready program to actually qualify for the job ready program. And I think we only qualify for 2. And I believe that we need to try to build ourselves up for that, and maybe use the money in that aspect to try to build ourselves up, in the job ready program. Maybe try to expand our horizon and think outside the box besides just being confined in just one small area.
Do you think we ought to look at hiring an economic development director, somebody qualified to do that kind of recruiting? Or do you think it could be handled within the fiscal court?
I believe it would probably be a lot better. Like I said, I think that we need to think outside the box, hiring an environment, someone who can come in here and tell us, about these things. I think that that's thinking outside the box, besides just confining ourselves to the physical court and letting them make all the decisions, hire somebody on the outside to, maybe give us some tips.
Yeah, absolutely. You already touched on the work ready, was one of my questions. So if you're elected, you're going to have a new judge executive and 3 or 4 new magistrates, so an entirely new fiscal court. How do you see working with the other members of the fiscal court to get things done?
I believe that, we do need to work together, and we need to try to come to agreements on a lot of these things, come up with solutions. But I also feel like at the same time, you might be the only one that will have to say no to something, and a lot of times, I'm all for transparency, I'm all for teamwork, but sometimes you might have to say vote the opposite of everybody else. But I do believe that we do need to try to work together to come up with the best solution for the people of the county.
So you're not afraid to vote no, even if you know you're going to be the only one voting no on something, but you're standing your ground on something like that.
Exactly.
Okay. My last question involves boards. We talked about the ordinance is unpopular, but also boards have been in the news a lot lately with the extension board and their tax. But we've got, the new economic development board, library board. We had the airport board in the past. What are your thoughts on boards, and how important or unimportant are they to the future of McCurry County?
Well, like the extension board, the extension service, whenever they was trying to get this 3.95 cents. I thank God that that they came up with a solution, with a compromise on that. I actually support the extension service because I think that they provide such good services to the FFA, to the McCurry Central Leadership Club, to the McCurry County Middle School Environmental Club. Just so many different programs, and plus the public libraries. That our children, I believe that they help us and they help the small businesses, and I'm all for it, and but I do believe that they should be a limit on things. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of different boards, and there's some boards I agree with and some that I don't, but extension service is actually one that I do agree with, and I stand with the extension service on that. So I mean, I believe that although they made a compromise, I don't think that the issue might be over. I think that maybe after the next election, it will come up again and someone will try to abolish the extension board. And I believe that they need to have somebody on the fiscal court who will stand up for them. And, if I'm elected, I would stand up for the extension board.
Yeah, and would you advocate having a little more involvement in the fiscal court on these boards to prevent something like that from happening again, so that way the fiscal court is aware of everything that's going on in these boards?
Yes, I would much rather for the extension board and the fiscal court to work together, and have the public notified of this. Like I think it was, last January, whenever it all came up, a lot of people blamed the extension board, but me myself, I think that the extension board did what they supposed to do. They went to the fiscal court and they asked what, it wasn't up to the fiscal court to bring it before the public. It was actually up to the fiscal court to bring it before the public. And I think that, the extension board got a bad name for something that, wasn't relatively their fault. So, like I said, I would like to fiscal court and the extension board to work real closely together and, try to come up with compromises and try to understand, each other and just talk things out.
Okay. Well, that was the last of my questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to address before we close?
My name's Johnny Corder, and I'm running for Magistrate in District 3. I do have a lot of concerns. I appreciate Mr. Baird, right?
Yep.
Mr. Baird for having me here today, and if you ain't decided on who to vote for, I would appreciate your vote on November. Your vote would be greatly appreciated and not took for granted.
All right. Thank you. Johnny Corder, your independent candidate for Magistrate in District 3. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.